Doing your stretches.
Yep.
Oh, diaper stretch left, diaper stretch right, waistband stretch.
Welcome to Love in Brief, a not-so-brief ABDL podcast focused on issues of love. Yeah. I am Lola, and who's this other sexy voice over here?
Oh, heck fire. I'm just resonant, yes.
Hello.
Hello. And you know, we always say at the beginning is love for self, love for community, love for diapers, blah, blah, blah. But today is all about love for self.
Yes.
It is all about love for self.
And we're going to have such a fun time talking about the worst days of our lives.
Hooray! What could be more fun? I will say we have had other episodes that are just about the worst days. And actually, folks who have been with us for a while were there for some of the worst days, at least for mine. And they got to see the process that I was going through sort of in real time. But today, we're not going to just stop there. We're going to talk about what it's like to hit those worst days and then make choices and embrace parts of yourself that help pull you out of your worst days.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
I mean, who among us and on this planet, what human has not had really tough times?
Right?
Right? So I really am excited to talk with our guests. I'm really excited to share a little bit of my story and hear more of your story. And also to really just talk about, like you said, how we, all of us have grown and changed and come out of those days. Hopefully, happier, more fulfilling self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we change slowly. Sometimes it takes pain to change. Sometimes we change 4 times a day.
Sometimes you change me.
Sometimes I change you. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Sometimes if you're wearing a trest, it's like once every couple weeks.
Oh, God.
And that's fine too.
No. Tell our listeners
Don't
to not do that.
Sorry, guys. Don't do that. That's bad for your skin.
All right.
Well, let me introduce our first guest, if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
So one of the things I love about getting to do Love and Brief is that I get to meet new people every week. And I get to meet people from all over the place and through all kinds of different fora. And in this case, the Love and Brief podcast group on FetLife, which is like sort of like home base for me. Like this is these are my people, and every once in a while I'll throw out a call. Hey, I'd love to hear about what you want to hear about or who I'd like to talk to. And this person reached out to me and said, let's chat. We were supposed to spend 15 minutes on the phone. We ended up spending, Bradley, I don't know, an hour more, 2, I don't know, forever.
Yeah, about an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm not a long phone talker, so that was a big deal. But I was so enthralled by his story and by getting to know him that we just had to bring him on. And we were intended to talk about a totally different topic. But once I heard his story, I said, we got to change the plan. So I will say, Bradley, welcome to Love and Brief. And as we always ask our guests, tell us about your love.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm a longtime listener, first-time guest, big fan of all you guys do. It's been extremely helpful for myself and much of the ABDL community. I can confidently say that.
Thank you.
My love would be just for that, just for the community, the elder statesmen, the everything about it. It is, in my opinion, both the hardest community to deal with and the most rewarding to deal with as well, and the absolutely most accepting people on earth.
Oh my gosh, I completely agree on all fronts. And as you're saying that, it occurs to me that like if I were to scroll through my phone, my last 250 calls that I've made, how many of them would be people from this community versus the other communities in my life, right? Work and other hobbies. How many of them would have come from this group? Because you're right. Sometimes the most difficult connections to make or conversations to have, and also the most rewarding and the ones that I stick around with for life.
Yeah.
Well, the difficult ones make it rewarding when they work.
For sure.
Yeah. That's so good.
I love that.
Lola, do you want to introduce our other guest?
Yes. So our other guest, you may know her from the, interwebs. And I'm so excited to just have gotten to meet her here on the podcast. So welcome to Elektra. Thanks for coming on the show. And please tell us about your love.
Thank you so much for having me. My love. Well, as I think we're going to discuss today about how love and the lack of love can really affect your life. I've spent a long time, the last few years, reevaluating exactly what all of that is and what it means to me. And it started with loving myself a lot better than I used to, so that I could love everybody else and everything else the way that I once did. Because I just love having such a zest for every little thing. There was once upon a time that I used to think, I wish I could just live forever because everything is just so beautiful and I don't want to miss any of it. And then I kind of lost that for a while there, and I felt so cynical and hardened and cold. And I've spent a lot of time zeroing back in on that love for all things and all people, because I think it's the one thing that outlives us, that effect and that lasting love that we leave behind. So.
Oh,
I believe the same thing.
yeah. RY and I just looked at each other and we're like, because that resonates so deeply with me as well.
I always tell people I don't have a religion, but the closest thing I have is an arbitrary belief I have that love is the only thing that outlasts all of us.
Yeah.
And so I behave accordingly. And so you really connected with me on that.
Yeah.
And we also met through an awesome platform. You know, I have a space on Tumblr. I know you do too, Lola. And I love the stuff that Elektra has created and shared. And she sort of shared some of the ups and downs of her journey on there as well.
Yeah.
And when it came time to talk about, she reached out and said, let's talk about the podcast. I was like, this could be an awesome person to talk to about this topic, because like me, Elektra shared some of the real and vulnerable stuff of life and shared that story. And I felt so grateful and kind of seen as a result. And so, Elektra, I'm just so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. And yes, I'm glad you appreciated all of that raw emotion that I poured out on Tumblr.
For
it was
sure.
quite the journey.
For sure. Well, I mean, and let's dig into it. I wonder, and I'll offer to either of you who want to, but tell us a little bit about your story. And I know our lives are so big, it's hard to sum it up, but tell us about sort of the background and what brought you to a place where things started to turn from, oh my gosh, I love every day, I just want to be around as long as possible, to, wow, I'm going through a really difficult time.
Bradley.
She put that one on the team.
I need some time to collect my thoughts.
Collect your thoughts, sure. I don't mind going first. Well, I always joke that I was kinky before I knew what the word was. And I didn't know the complete depths. I mean, I knew what I was interested in. And I guess factory settings is how I came out. I've had an interest in age play and ABDL and diapers since I was 5 years old. And with that, he kind of knew that I was different. And so I kind of was very recluse, especially with relationships, because I didn't know how to approach anybody and explain how I felt the way I felt. So it was a very, I don't want to say lonely existence, because I always had friends, and it's not like I locked myself in a closet or anything. I was extremely social and had fun, but just as far as any romantic partners, it was not on the forefront. We talked about earlier, I'm 50 years old, so this was before the internet, before all the wonderful tools that we have today to discover and find community. So it was a slow go at the first point, but eventually I threw an old, I'm up in Canada, so we have a little laxer laws when it comes to kink and fetish. We actually have several bars and clubs local to me now.
Oh, nice.
And
I'm so jealous.
I am too.
yeah, there's 4 within 20 minutes of me, so
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I find myself very
Yeah, like built-in
fortunate.
community right there.
Yeah, we had one and it closed.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
closed after like 9 months.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
blaming us, but we sure didn't help, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely us.
I had
That's funny.
To have 4, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had little like flyers and circulars and such, and so I also have kinks with dominance and submission. So that was kind of the gateway into it, and every once in a while on a flyer, I would see something called infantilism, and that would pique my interest. So I knew that I wasn't alone. I just didn't know how to facilitate the next step.
Yeah.
And with not knowing how to facilitate it, I put it to the side.
Yeah.
Just for abject loneliness. I said, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'll grow out of this. You never grow out of it, everybody. It's with you forever. Forever.
Yep.
Which is awesome. Not gonna lie, which is pretty awesome. And so that's kind of what I did. I put it to the side and explored vanilla relationships. And as I explored vanilla relationships, I realized they weren't really doing it for me. So I slowly introduced kink conversations, and I had some that were very receptive and others that were absolutely horrified. And I always said, listen, to each their own. No one's going to make me do anything I don't want to do, so I don't want to make anybody do anything they don't want to do. 100% curious, whatever. There's 8 billion people on Earth. I can find somebody that will align. So, well, long story short, I never did. So I went and unfortunately had a very unsuccessful relationship with a domineering woman, not a dominant. That's different.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as fun.
No, unfortunately, she used the guise of dominance and submission for her man-hating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen that go both ways, and it's ugly business. That when
It is. I'm not painting either gender.
Of course,
any of them
yeah.
with a paintbrush of misogyny or misogyny or anything like that. But unfortunately, she just utilized this to abuse people, and unfortunately, I was in that range.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's an awful situation to be in, especially when you're in relationship and it's under the guise of kink.
Yes.
Right. This thing that you want, right? You want it to be seen, and you want it to be actually in part of a relationship, right? And then for that to be abused and to be, taken in a way that was outside of your trust, that's not okay. I'm so sorry you went through that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Thank you. Wasn't my best. It lasted about 6 years, and then I fled. I fled. I was mentally, physically, and spiritually abused, and I left my house. I just left and completely started over.
Wow.
So you left your house, you left your relationship.
Left
When
everything.
That sounds like a pretty hard reset.
Well, I left with the clothes on my back.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And just started over through despair and help of some close friends.
Oh, man.
I'm so glad you found some support
Oh, yes.
like in that moment.
That's when you truly learn who your friends are and well, who you want your friends to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I want to pause there, not for the dramatic effect of holding tension, but a little bit for the dramatic effect of holding tension.
All right.
But thank you for bringing us to that sort of low point with you. I want to check in with Elektra and hear about your background and your process, because then I want to shift the conversation to what was it like being there and what were those first ways out? What were those first rays of light? But Elektra, I wonder if you'd be willing to share your story a bit and what got you to that really difficult spot.
Yeah, okay. Well, similar to Bradley, I was also factory loaded with some kinks, and but I grew up in a very religious home, very strict, domineering religious home, and there was a lot of oppression. And I thought that by the time I kind of broke free of some of that and eventually met my ex-husband and got together with him, I thought that I was really rebelling against all of that stuff and breaking free, and didn't realize just how much of it was ingrained. And even though I thought I was living my life the way I wanted to, I was still living under a lot of things that had been drilled into me my whole life. And so after being married for several years, I discovered kink and was able to put a name to some of the ways that I felt. I definitely was interested in domination and submission and everything, but I was immediately pulled towards age play. It just ticked all the boxes for me. And that's what we called it back then. It wasn't DDLG and MDLG and all that. It was just age play was the umbrella term for all of it. And the interesting thing was that at that time, the groups that I was involved with, a lot of people still looked down on age players within the kink community. So I thought, God, I had to pick the one thing that's still really controversial.
Right.
And,
That resonates.
And within that, ABDL was even more looked down upon. It looked totally different than it does today online. I mean, it was a lot more like sissy content. We had very few people representing us on like Jerry Springer, which was all done for shock value.
Yeah.
And so it was really scary to say, I'm interested in this niche thing that looks like this, you know. So I still kept it a secret for a very long time, the ABDL side of it. But I was open with my partner about being interested in age play. I often called him daddy anyway. It was just natural to me. And we played and we explored a little bit, but I don't think it was ever his thing as much as it was mine. And eventually life gets busy and you don't have time for all of that. And it all kind of went by the wayside. And it was like 10 years later that we joined Tumblr specifically. And it was because I had searched for something and found a cute picture and sent it to him. And so then he sent a picture to me and we were kind of flirting by sending each other links to Tumblrs. And so I was like, hey, why don't we start one of these? And so we did, and we used it to kind of communicate about things that we found difficult to communicate in person about. And so it was through that I was able to kind of eventually dip a toe into saying I'm interested in diapers and being babied and being nurtured and loved in these ways. And I think
man. That's, I mean, it's wild to me. Sorry to interrupt. I just was struck by how many people use Tumblr for this exact reason, to sort of do this like semaphore of communication in ways that you maybe can't talk about directly. It's just, I think Tumblr is apparently awesome for that.
Yeah, especially back in the day, you know, 10 plus years ago.
Yes, it was the heyday at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I was just sitting here nodding my head because that's exactly what happened with me and my ex too. Like exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't factory installed ABDL, but I was like, I'm kinky and I need to find a way. And my ex was factory installed, and so they sent me a Tumblr like link, and I was like, what's this? And then I found a sexy one and sent it back, and that's literally exactly how this started. And then we started our own Tumblr blog too.
Isn't that fun?
That's really
so funny.
cool.
It's some of my sweetest and most like happy memories with my ex-partner.
Yeah.
Just some of the things that went
wonderful.
on during that time, but they were kind of, we were open to it because of the way that we were experiencing Tumblr and communicating there together, and along with other people, because we had our little circle of followers and people we followed, and we all communicated. And
I wonder if we followed each other back in the day.
I do wonder now. I'm very curious.
Yeah, because this would have been for me like 2015.
Yeah, I think we started on there probably 2013, 2014, somewhere in there. And then it might have been around the time that you got active on there, might have been when we left, because some stuff changed
that's so
for us.
interesting though.
What if you sent one of Elektra's pictures, or she sent one of
seriously.
yours?
I know.
Going
I've
like,
never
this
seen
is
that.
what I want.
That's so wild.
I love it. I know on her podcast, Daddy I Want This talked about doing the exact same thing.
I know.
That's why her name is Daddy I Want
Exactly.
This. Because
That's
it was
why.
nothing but a blog of things she wanted.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Elektra, thank you for that digression. But so there you are, building this connection over Tumblr and kink.
And so at that time, I started to see a little bit more cute diaper girl like representation that I had never seen before, and it just made me feel a little more open to maybe I want this too. I definitely liked the daddy dom little girl thing a lot. I think that's still my main kink. But the diapers I was curious about. I think I like what they represent. And they're kind of a metaphor to me for this like nurturing love and care that I just really, really wanted and I didn't know how to ask for. And so we played with that a little bit. It really wasn't his thing, although he indulged, and he was the one that kind of started it in the first place. But I think once we did it a little bit, he was like, okay, we did that. Now let's do other stuff or nothing at all, you know? But I think after a while, again, life got busy. Those things don't feel as important when life is flying by and there's all these really important things to tend to. But I think that nothing stood in its place for us romantically or in a loving, nurturing way. So it's like, okay, we took away the kink and we took away the diapers and we took away the Tumblr. We're not really communicating and we're not really talking and we're not really being intimate. And I don't just mean sex, but like emotionally intimate. We're not doing that. And the chasm just grew wider and wider. And you just kind of keep plugging along because you're doing all the things you're supposed to do. And we were doing that. And I think when COVID hit, it really, I know it changed so many people's lives, but for me, I just hit this wall where I was like, I can't do all the things I'm supposed to do. I can't work day in and day out and come home and feel miserable here and feel unhappy and not feel heard and not be hugged and not have my hand held and not be kissed and not be held. I just can't do it anymore. And so it was still, even from there, it was a very long process to the time that we split up, because I was trying to reach out and I was trying to communicate. It just wasn't going anywhere. And one day I finally realized, like, I'm asking for things that he's just incapable of, I think. And I've got to stop having this expectation because it's just making me resent him. And I don't want to, because I love him so much and he's such a really good person. Maybe we just aren't on the same page, you know, maybe we're never going to be and stuff. So I put myself into therapy. I was doing a lot of self-care at that time, apart from him, so that I could try to get my shit figured out. And I'm sorry, are we allowed to swear?
Oh, please. I'd be mad if you didn't.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Just checking. But like, I mean, very basic stuff. I took myself to the doctor. I went to the dentist. I like did all these things I had not been doing to take care of myself. And I thought I'll be my own caregiver for a while. I need to.
Yeah.
And when I went to therapy, I was so broken by the time I went. And it wasn't just because of diapers and ABDL. It was my marriage. It was my career. It was family stuff. It was a lot of stuff. But one of the things the reason I chose this therapist is because he was kink aware. And I wanted to be able to finally, for once in my life, talk openly about everything. And so very scared and shaking, I told him this thing about me that I looked him dead in his eye and I said, I need you to help me get rid of this. Because I really felt like if you could help me get rid of this, then I won't have these expectations and then everything will be okay.
Sure.
Like, help please take this need away.
Yeah.
And I love this man, and I will never forget this moment because he was very thoughtful and he was not condescending, but he just said, Elektra, it just doesn't work that way. I'm not nobody can do that for you. That's not how this works. It was almost as though he, in that moment, just was like, this is you. All of it is you. Big you, little you, your kinks, your non-kink, like all of it is you. So we've got to learn how to help you accept all of it. And that's what I can help you do. And so if you want to, I'll do that. I will take you on and we will work together on this. But by him doing that, just instantly affirmed me that it wasn't something that needed to be deleted or taken away. It was something that I needed to learn to accept and integrate. And changed my life. It really did.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, that moment of hearing from the person who you came to change you, that they say, no, it doesn't work that way. You're gonna need to embrace
so
who
matter
you are.
of fact. He was
Right.
so matter of fact about it.
Well, I think that's so helpful, right? I mean, if you're just fed what you think, whatever, like it's so helpful when people are just really truthful and honest, even if that is hard, with compassion and empathy, of course, but it's really helpful to hear someone say something that's true.
And
Because then
somebody
you
who,
realize
in my
in
mind,
yourself it is.
Yeah.
He's trained, he's read the books, he has the degree. And so if he's telling me that this is how it is, I was kind of like, well, okay, then I guess he knows what he's talking about. So it gave it another stamp of approval of like, there's nothing wrong with me. I've just got to figure out how to make it all work together in real life.
Yeah.
And that was like a really big turning point for me.
Yeah.
But I was definitely at my rock bottom at that moment when I went to him, and I meant it wholeheartedly. Like, please just take this away. hypnotize me, whatever you need to do, just get it out of here.
There are so many people who I'm certain right now who can identify with that, me included, thinking, God, in my first marriage in particular, thinking I would give anything. I would give anything to just get rid of this because then everything would be fine. The reality that I realized is twofold. One is exactly what your therapist told you, which is it doesn't work that way. It's not going anywhere. It's part of who you are. But the other one is that if you took this away, now there's just a hole there. And all the other things that weren't working were going to continue not working. Because it's not like taking this away solves all the other things. It just removes something, right? And whatever chemistry we didn't have, we still wouldn't have. And whatever problem-solving skills or communication skills we didn't have, we still wouldn't have. We just wouldn't be able to have sex about it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And little did I know at the time that taking that thing away would be taking away something that now brings me so much happiness and joy. It's one part of the whole. But if I had truly said, yeah, get this out of here, and he dissected it somehow, my life would not be as happy as it is today at all.
Yeah. Lola, I'm wondering, I'm hearing some commonalities and some differences between their stories. I wonder if you'd want to share. Everybody's already heard my story 100 times.
Well, I feel like everyone's heard my story 100 times too.
Do you want to
like
share an
50 times.
Abstract?
Yes,
Is that a
everyone get
thing?
out your pen. I'm going to write an abstract journal entry now. Well, a few things that both Bradley and Elektra have shared really resonated with me. I think way at the beginning, when Elektra said, that I forget what word it was exactly that you used, but like the joy and the happiness and all the good stuff in life just wasn't, I used to want to suck all that stuff up, right? And then like imagining how that could go away. But so I was sitting here, and I want to ask this question of you and our guests as well. But I was sitting here thinking through my own story, and it was like, what was the actual moment or realization that I had that made me actually make a change? And for me, the word wasn't joy, but I remember actually telling you, RY, way back in the day when we were, friends and talking about some really hard stuff that we were going through, that I felt like my color was just gone or almost all the way gone. And that's how it really felt like to me. It felt like I was living life in black and white. It felt like I couldn't possibly feel the sunshine on my skin anymore because like it just didn't exist anymore, because I was in a place where I just wasn't me. I wasn't fully me, I guess I should say. And that's when I decided, that girl, the one that I was when I was younger, when I was a child and a teenager, like if I don't do something about this right now, she will be gone forever.
Oh,
she will be gone.
Yes.
like she's slipping away from you.
Yeah. And if I don't, and like I was so good at just stamping her out and doing what I was supposed to do. So I got married rather young. It was like a month after I turned 22. And I had my bachelor party on my 22nd birthday. And
me too. It was a month before I turned 22.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And so I got married rather young, and I met my ex when I was 18, and they now are non-binary. So I'm going to use the pronouns they, them. They are the ones that introduced me to ABDL, but I always knew I was kinky. I remember, and one thing that brought me to diapers when I was like, oh, let me try this thing, mostly for my spouse, right? Because I wanted to make them happy. But I remember even being a child, I don't know if I've ever shared this in the podcast, but like being a weirdo in the bathroom and just like running my hand under my stream of pee, like as I was going to the bathroom, because I just thought it was like cool.
Because it's
and,
so neat.
Yeah. And like a little sexy and naughty and taboo. And turns out I absolutely have a pee or liquid fetish, a fluid fetish. I think I do. And And so, yeah, I think I've always known there's something more there. And I think I've always known that I'm like a really sensual, sexual being. But I got married in the Catholic Church. I grew up very religious. We got married exactly the way you're supposed to. Everything's lined up for you by your parents, marry a nice little Catholic boy and go have, 3.5 children and whatever. Because we're Catholic, we have to have 2.5, right? You have to have.
You have to add the extra one.
You have to, yes.
God help that 0.5 child.
Yes.
And so I was a good little Catholic girl and daughter and just did my thing. And I was happy about it too. Like I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. And I was really happy in my marriage for a while, and I still love my ex dearly. I was just texting with them today. Like we are still very good friends, but came to a point where we had to make this choice of, are we going to stay this very Catholic, religious, traditional, monogamous, what we're supposed to be couple? Or are we going to actually embrace our kink for more than 2 months at a time before we purged everything and actually be ourselves and allow ourselves to grow in our own sexualities and that? And it turns out we couldn't do that together.
Yeah.
We just couldn't do that together. So I was married for 16 years. And it was COVID. I started going to therapy. I hadn't gone since I was 18, probably. I started going back to therapy during COVID because, there was some shit going on, everyone. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so unhappy and I didn't know why. I literally, the first day, and I did go to a kink aware and I wanted, because I knew I needed to talk about this. This was a big part of our relationship as we talked about the Tumblr, all the stuff, right? And I needed to be able to talk about that. And I literally remember saying in my first session, like, I don't know why I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Like everything is there. I have this beautiful house. I have this amazing person who comes home to me every day and provides for me and does all of the things and is so kind to me. It was
so nice and loving.
Yes. And my family's like, my family, but they're pretty great. They're pretty good. And like, I had all of the things and I had the job I wanted and I worked as much or as little as I wanted to. Like I should have been happy. But it turns out I am bisexual and I am polyamorous and I am a fucking sexual being that cannot push that shit down anymore. And I finally realized that my color was almost gone and I had to do something about it.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
so
I haven't heard you express it that way before. It reminds me of if you guys ever want to just make me cry on the spot, there's a Sarah Bareilles song called "She Used to Be Mine," which is about that exact thing, and I will cry in your face. But I heard some commonalities in these stories, and I heard a couple of important differences in these stories. I'll first mention the difference. One really important difference that I heard is it wasn't about whether or not you and your partner liked each other. I mean, from Bradley, we heard about a partner that was abusive and horrible. And from Elektra, we heard about a partner that was really pretty good, and for the most part, they were really trying. And I heard from you about a partner that loved you very much and treated you very well. And that wasn't the determining factor, at least not alone.
Yeah.
In your stories, you can be with somebody who loves you and you love them, and you can be with somebody who's nice to you. That's not necessarily because they suck, right? And my story is the same way, right? It's not necessarily because they suck. Some of the commonalities I heard, one is that there was a moment where somehow staying where you were was worse than changing, even though changing meant giving up everything.
Yep.
Everything. And Bradley, you really called that out.
I actually have a part 2
to
my story because after I fled and reestablished my life, I decided, okay, I'm going to change. I'm going to completely purge this kink stuff because all it did was bring me pain. So I am going to be vanilla. I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And with that, I met a vanilla girl. Kind of fell in love through kind of a mutual trauma. I was leaving an abusive relationship, and she was not leaving the best relationship either. We met within our trauma, how we described it, fell madly in love, and then got married, or had our daughter, and then we got married. We didn't do everything the Catholic way.
And you didn't have 3.5 children and take them to church every morning? Okay.
No. I'm also without religion, but yeah. So, and we did what married people do. You get up, you go to work, you take care of the kids, you do your stuff. And I was completely honest with her that I have kinks. This is what it is. And she indulged me. She indulged me with the diapers, with spankings, with some domination, some switching and stuff. It was never her thing, though. But I was just kind of blinded because I had somebody that was not only not repulsed by it, which my abusive ex eventually was, that she was just accepting. So I kind of just really enjoyed that. But
Of course, yeah.
we were different enough people that, hey, COVID hit. And COVID is a very commonality as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she called me on the phone. She was up at my trailer, and she called me, and she was with the kids. I just got home from work, and she just said she didn't want to do this anymore. She didn't want to be married to me anymore.
Wow.
Because we had grown apart. And I'd known it, but I didn't know how to get out of it. Part of me kind of wanted to, but I just didn't know how to. So I tell her this often because we're friendly. I don't know if we'll ever be friends because you're exes, but at least we're friendly. I told her the other day, I said, you know what, I'm glad that you pulled the trigger because I was not strong enough to. I was too afraid to be alone, to have to start my life over. But when she did, I moved into the basement until I was able to get my life started.
Yeah.
And that's when I can honestly say that was my rock bottom.
Living in the basement, starting over.
Knowing that everything ahead of me, I have to, yes, this was not the life I wanted with my wife and my kids, or not the life I didn't want or anything, but this life was not working for me. I was not happy, and neither was she. We were in the way of each other's happiness.
Yeah.
So I sat there in the basement, probably on my 9th beer, watching The Mandalorian, because it had just come out. It was really cool.
Baby Yoda.
Good show.
I wonder how many people hit rock bottom watching The Mandalorian.
That and Tiger King, I think.
Yeah, I was going to Tiger King for
my
sure.
God.
That might have been mine.
Tiger King.
Me
I
too.
had Tiger King.
Me too. That's like a pride. That's like a point of pride for
That
me.
you
I
haven't
have not
seen
seen it. Anyways, please go on.
No,
Brandon.
that was around my rock bottom too. I hear you.
Yeah, I caught up on all the memes. It was fun enough doing that. But yeah, I remember just being at my absolute worst, thinking, okay, I'm not a young man anymore. What the hell am I starting over? This absolutely sucks. And I sat there and I cried my eyes out. And then I was done crying and I started kind of maniacally laughing. Just
The
laughing.
breakthrough.
And then laughing at myself laughing. So much to the point that I was not wearing a diaper at the time. I'm like, I'm going to wet myself if I do not stop laughing. And so I just kind of sat back. And then I just smiled like hell. And I'm like, you know what? Thank God I hit rock bottom because now I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the world is really my oyster, and I'm going to go ahead as kinky as I want to be. And I'm going to treat myself as good as I treat other people.
Yeah.
And I have been.
Hell yeah.
Good job.
Ooh, I'm so glad that you
Yeah.
brought us part 2 of your story.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's really good. I just love this image of you 9 beers back in your basement and finally cracking and going, something is about to change. And having, as you said, a maniacal laughter about it, that like, this is the turning point, as
Yeah.
bizarre as it is.
And Baby Yoda witnessed it.
And Baby Yoda was
Yep.
there to see it.
If I was watching like Batman when the Joker started laughing, I thought that would have been perfect. Just that maniacal laugh. But nope, I'll stick with the
Wow.
Mandalorian.
Interesting.
This is great.
Yeah.
So I want to try something I've never done before, which
Okay.
is I want to break this episode into 2 parts. I want to leave.
Okay.
I want to leave the dramatic tension right there.
But
So we're checking in with Bradley in his basement. We're checking in with Elektra at her therapist, being told this is never going to change. We're checking in with you the day that you realize that the color is gone and you can't live like this, or that you'll have to live the rest of your life like this, right?
yeah. Yeah.
And I want to pause there. And we're going to come back for a part 2 in just dun 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 in just a few days, because I want to sit with that empathic tension. I want to sit because I truly believe there are many people, if not most people who are listening, who can identify.
Yeah.
And I don't want to solve the problem for us yet. I want us to sit with it for a second. And then we will talk about where the light came from, because I know it came from within. And I want to get into that. So friends, you're going to hate me. Those of you listening, you're going to hate me. We're going to pick it up in part 2 of hitting bottom and bouncing back. We're going to do the bouncing back part in part 2. In the meantime, don't send me hate mail. I promise it's coming very shortly. We're going to record it all tonight. So I'm going to release the second part in just a little bit, but I want you to sit with it. And I want you, the person who's listening, to think about, is there a time that you've been there? What was true about you in those spaces? What did you want? What did you need? And what was the truth that you had to stare at and come to terms with, maniacal laughter or otherwise? Sit with that for a few days, friends, and we'll be back with part 2 on this very special 2-part episode of Love in Brief.